it's really hard to always get to the medical malpractice issue, but they found medical malpractice here, right?
Oh yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
They awarded.
The jury found everything. They checked all the guest boxes.
But
yeah, the jury was like, no, yeah, there you go.
So did they? Forgive my ignorance.
You want me to
what is the basis of the medical malpractice claim? I came back and I was going to do a joke about how all of our hospitals have a standard issue rocket launcher, but I didn't want to do that because you guys are already getting disbarred.
Ian, or not Ian. Here's the God, Nick. Here's the my brain is
God
fried.
Nick is how I got. That is my name.
No, you're Pope. You're Pope Nick. You're not God Nick. So here's the breakdown.
He's been promoted.
False imprisonment. False imprisonment.
Tomato, I say you're excommunicated. That's cool. No.
So false imprisonment, 26 million. Battery, 31 million. Medical negligence. That's MedMal. MedMal is 26.7. Fraudulent billing, 5 million. Survivorship, wrongful death. Wrongful death was 108. That was the one that was. They needed the audit to remain in that. IIED is 10 million. So,
but like, what was the basis of the medical malpractice claim? Like, what did it say? So it's in how they treated her. They must have found that the treatment that Johns Hopkins gave was caused further harm, right? Like, that's the idea.
That's what they said.
Yep.
That's what the jury found.
But it did. I mean, if you look at the dependency court hearing transcripts, it's undeniable, and even they admit it. They admit that they haven't been able to help her. Johns Hopkins admits in the dependency that we can't help her. We haven't been able to help her. She's not getting any better, and so we have to transfer and shuffle her off to someplace else.
That's not the same thing as medical negligence, though, or medical malpractice.
But her condition worsened while she was there.
It's also not necessarily the same thing as medical malpractice.
Condition, oh, okay. Well, how about the child?
Well, that would be the damages element.
How about when they held her down and stripped her and took photographs of her?
That would be battery.
Yeah, that's battery.
Malpractice.
Still, this whole thing is bullshit. They needed all of them. All of these hospitals that do this needed a big wake up call.
No.
They got away with.
I'm on Megan's side of this one.
They got away with Justina Pelletieri. That case got thrown out. Her family never saw a dime, never got anything for what they did to that family. Drake Pardo, I don't think his family sued that hospital, and they got away. Cynthia Absug, they did it to her. She's still separated from her son. She lost all her parental rights over that. They accused her of the exact same thing at one of these stupid hospitals. And then you have Rachel Bruno. She won $2.3 million, but that wasn't nearly enough. Not nearly enough.
On Megan's side. On Megan's side, though.
$million, it's getting closer.
On Megan's side, would this rise to the medical malpractice where the primary caregiving physician said this is not abuse? Do not consider this abuse case, and they promptly went down and handled it as an abuse case, locked her away in a closet, prevented the mother from being there, and treated her incorrectly.
I will disagree. That's
not medical malpractice.
This was not MedMal. This was not MedMal.
It was not MedMal.
It was. You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, Megan, I will disagree with you because you are applying the wrong fucking legal standard.
Well, you should. Yeah, you are applying the wrong.
I see.
I couldn't agree with. I could agree with Rob Moore. You're applying completely the wrong standard, and I was wrong standard. Yes, it does matter. This is a legal education work. What are you talking about? Doesn't matter.
Oh,
here's the thing.
You want to do something on your feelings? You want to do it for the fee-fees? You want to do it because your fee-fees got hurt?
No.
Yes.
I'm still on Megan's side because Megan is a juror.
Exactly.
Megan's a juror.
The jurors are not lawyers.
You explain because you have no reasons.
No.
It's not rationale.
Are not lawyers.
Wait.
Everybody, you. Fuck you, Megan. Fuck you.
Nick asked the question.
What? I don't care whether you take it or not.
You want to know what I have to say?
No, I don't want to know. I don't care what you have to say. You're an ignorant little clown.
No.
So all the jurors are ignorant clowns then. The jurors are not lawyers.
We're not getting the personal attack.
Yeah, I'm mad because I'm listening to some bullshit. I'm a little bit mad about your bullshit that you're spewing. And you're talking about all this stuff like it doesn't matter. It does matter. You have to look at this cause by cause, claim by claim, under a legal analysis, using the wordings.
No reason for a year now.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear anything you have to say.
Okay,
Now we're
okay.
I don't care about anything you
Said
said.
either.
I blocked you. I don't want to hear from you.
Now we're on
You're an ignorant little clown. I don't like you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to talk to you.
Like
All right.
both of them.
Calm
You
down,
want?
calm down. This
I
is
don't
this is
know. I
getting
don't
way, way
I
personal.
don't know what in the world that has to do with anything that we are talking about. What we're talking about is I'm trying to tell you, whatever the lawyers are going to do with their appeals, fine. You want to go appeal the medical malpractice? Go ahead. The bigger issue here is there are hospitals doing this to families all over this whole country. And it is happening under the radar. This is not rare. I have covered in my 20 years of doing this multiple families that this has happened to over and over and over again. I needed this. Everybody who's been through this needed this kind of winning to a family to make everybody sit up and go, holy shit, what is happening with CPS and hospitals and medical kidnapping? That's what, and so go ahead, and you guys are the lawyers, and you can argue about medical malpractice all day. It doesn't matter. They got him on battery. They got him on intentional infliction of emotional distress.
And medical malpractice.
Megan, have you ever seen conversion disorder in real life? Have you ever seen the other side? Because I have. Have you ever seen conversion disorder?
It doesn't exist, Rob.
What I mean is that you are speaking very, very, very loudly against an institution that may have, in this instance, done wrong. But here's the thing. No. Let me finish my point. Please. You are speaking very loudly against an institution that, in this instance, may have done something very wrong. However, have you seen conversion disorder actually employed? Have you seen what that does to a child? Have you seen what it does and the harm it does to a child, and seen children who go on to threaten self-harm and are institutionalized themselves because of the threats of self-harm, because of things that were imposed on them by a parent? I have.
Yeah, I studied child abuse cases all the time.
I'm not done. Because it was nurses and practitioners and guidance counselors who reported that, and they did it on a risk. And when they did it and they were protected, and that child is alive now. One in particular I'm thinking of is alive now because of that. So I'm not going to go with this whole all institutions are terrible in every regard, and we're going to fucking bash them to the end of time. We are going to take this one case is going to be analyzed as this case. No, because what you guys were doing was you were going down this institutional bashing, and we're not going to do that. Because every fucking case is different and unique.
I don't know.
Every case is different and unique.
I have a completely different
coming up with that, because I didn't say that. I said it's
Megan,
not what I said.
You said you've been reporting it for 20 years. For 20 years you've been reporting on it.
I have.
Yes, reporting on it for 20 years.
I've been reporting on CPS
that is
corruption for 20 years. And yes, I believe that institution of our child protection services does more harm than good. And I can prove that because our own State Department has the statistics, and so does Health and Human Services. 80% of the cases that are investigated are unfounded. That means 80% of the people they investigate, their lives are ripped apart for no damn reason whatsoever. The
Megan,
ones that
come
they
with me
do
to court
save,
one day.
Rob,
Come with me to court one day.
I don't need to. I've been in family court. I've been studying it for 20 years. I've been with the
studying it is not fucking practicing it.
No, I've been
studying it is not fucking practicing.
This is getting so personal, guys.
Everybody,
everybody,
I've been with these families. I have been with these families as they go through it for years. I have walked with them through it.
Welcome to my world, Rob.
Even as a lawyer on this channel, I will say that probably Megan is the one with the most valuable opinion on this, because she is the every person juror.
Yeah,
that's why lawyers are never going to sit on a jury like this ever.
I can't be impartial.
You don't need to, because the thing here, the reason I pointed out that Megan was a juror and why I think it's important is actually an argument I've made about the purpose of the jury system in general. And since it's an argument I've made, I know it's correct because I made it. So here's the deal. the jury system exists so that we get to choose the way our rules and laws are enforced. And once you get past the legal arguments, you move into the jury world where what happens is we go beyond the pure legal analysis. So I agree, Rob and Kurt are 100% right on the academic and even practical legal analysis that's going on. I'm agreeing with you that I haven't seen medical malpractice, but my view is limited. So, but from what I understand of medical malpractice, I haven't seen a standard of care be articulated in this case and then be violated. And I think that's why it's probably at risk for appeal. Damages is pretty easy to argue. If her condition degrades, Megan says, well, her mental condition degrades, her physical condition degrades. Okay, well, you can argue damages pretty clearly. Now, the amount of them, obviously, we can quibble over. But you still got those first two elements on the legal analysis of it. But once we get to the jury thing, and I think you guys will agree with me on this, that once you're in the jury status, all you need is a rationally related factual analysis to a plausible jury outcome that is not blatantly ridiculous, right? Like that, because overturning a jury verdict, even on medical malpractice, even on an extremely thin medical malpractice case, the appeals court's going to look and they're going to go, okay, wait, these 6 people sat for 12 weeks watching all of this evidence, weighing and assessing the credibility of everyone before them. And if they found in the record any iota of a standard of care being articulated, and then any iota of a standard of care being violated, we have damages. If a reasonable jury could find either of those two things, even if we go, well, but they're motivated because they're really mad at what happened here because it was really awful in this instance, they're going to uphold the jury verdict, right? Like,
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Megan's opinion is so valuable, and you guys' opinion obviously valuable too, because there is the legal standard. But then we have to go, we have this system that says, yeah, here's the legal arguments. You make them to the judge, you get past the judge, now we're in front of the jury, and the jury goes, but this motherfucking hospital, if they took my kid, I would have John Q'd those motherfuckers into oblivion. And like I would have had a fertilizer ammonia sundae for that doctor, and fuck them, because that's the jury's job. And then it's the appeals court job to say, well, we get the sentiment, but we do have legal standards that we have to adhere to. And can we plausibly get to those? Rob, what were you had a thing that you wanted to go into while the debate? Can you hit that?
It wasn't that. It was that I wanted to apologize. I lost my cool. I'm very good about keeping my temperament. I really am. And I lost my cool, and that was inappropriate of me. And I apologize to you, Megan. I did not mean to do personal jabs. I have been close to this case. No,
I'm a little confused, Rob, because I'm a little confused because I don't understand what it is that I have done to you. I don't need to ask Kurt. I know what it's coming from in his side, but I don't really know where it's coming from with you. Megan, and I appreciate it. I accept your apology. I don't know what it is I've done. If I've done something to upset you, I'm also sorry. But I'm certainly, I enjoy your coverage. I enjoy you as a person. So
this case has been really close, and it's been hard for me to cover. It's been really hard for me to cover because I've seen both sides of the equation. I've seen the good that hospitals do. I've seen the bad that they do. I've seen the good that CPS does. I've seen the bad that they do. I've seen both of them, and I've been dancing on this fine line of trying to give the benefit of the doubt to both parties, and it's been impossible. It has been so fucking hard for me to cover this case fairly and down the middle because I've seen both sides.
Don't do it. And you just grab your axe and go, this hospital's coming down.
I get it. I get it. And the thing is, when I was covering the closing arguments by Ethan Shapiro this afternoon, I was furious at what he was saying. It made me more mad than I think I've ever been about what he was saying when he said, if you take $1 away from the hospital, you're taking $1 from a sick kid with these chemo treatments. Like, that's fucking bullshit. It is so, I've been on like a razor's edge of trying to fucking cover this, knowing all that I have in my decade of trial practice. And I'm trying my best. And
imagine having trial experience. What a bitch.
Well, that's what I mean. I lost it. I lost it. I didn't mean to go personal with it. And I think what it was I know a lot of people in these institutions that do really good work and that they are really good people. And I don't want to jump
I have some of them in my
so
chat.
far
I
in
agree
the
with you.
bandwagon.
I have some of them in my chat. I have CPS workers who were there for 25 years. And guess what? They agree with me that the system is really, really bad.
Well,
it
I
is.
mean, some of these
fixing.
documents,
it needs fixing.
Some of these videos were leaked from like they had to be leaked from hospital employees.
Yeah.
So there were Johns Hopkins employees who were.
Oh my God! Yeah, they
can we also
hate
address
this
the
shit.
fact that there is institutional corruption in this country that is
yes. Oh my God!
And
Howard Hunter. The idea that he did not destroy documents or make witnesses just not available is a joke. I hate this case because it shows the worst of what a healthcare system could be. This is the worst that you could ever see of a hospital. And you never hope to, you hope you never see it.
I have the verdict sheet. I just wanted to go back to what the jury was asked in medical negligence. So should we just look at what the jury was actually asked?
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
And
they were asked this
because I don't know what it is.
Was Dr. Sally Smith negligent in the medical care of Maya Kowalski? And was that negligence a legal cause of loss, injury, or damage? Now, let's think about what it is that Sally Smith did. She refused to look at the diagnosis of Maya Kowalski. That was correct. She has CRPS. Look, Rob, it doesn't matter because Johns Hopkins doesn't know what the fuck she has either. So let's just go with the diagnosis of her doctors.
Sally Smith. It's who Sally Smith is. They accepted the apparent agency. So you have to get there by apparent agency.
Yeah, they accept the agency.
Yep,
I skipped that
part. There you go.
I skipped that. But I skipped that part.
And she's also paid out $2.5 million already because of her behavior.
After that, they have to figure out, is what she did negligent in the care? Yeah, because she ignored her treating physicians. She refused to put that information in her report, which led to her being taken away from her parents. Yeah, that's negligence. It is. If I'm on the jury, it's absolutely negligence. Excluding and not considering the conduct of Dr. Sally Smith, were one or more healthcare providers negligent in the medical care of Maya Kowalski? Well, a bunch of nurses slapped her and touched her and refused to believe that she had pain and were dancing around her and trying to get her to walk and get out of bed. Yeah, that's the testimony that we heard. I'm on the jury. I'm like, yeah, I remember all those, the 7th floor coven. I remember what they did. I remember those bitches. They did terrible things to her. And I consider that negligent. They didn't believe a kid when she said she was in pain. They didn't help her they left her to sit in her own excrement because they wanted to see if she could get out of the bed and walk.
Maybe she was a diaper fetishist. Do you consider that one, Megan?
Megan, there's one part of the analysis. There's one part of the analysis that I think that is important to.
She's doing a reboot
to kind of. I'm saying that you're right. The jury found all these things. This is the one count.
I'm not going to explode. You don't have to treat
me like this is the one. This is the one count.
A bomb that's about to go off because I'm really not going to.
Sorry, that was
just wait. That was
well taken.
No, but I will have hold of her soon.
We're not on Rumble yet, Nick. We're not on Rumble yet. Let's get the Rumble.
What I mean
only rumbles when our children explode.
I don't know why it is this way, but it feels like everyone here is terrified that I'm going to do something, and I don't know what that thing is.
No, it's not.
Other than talk and tell you my opinions in a tone that upsets people for whatever reason.
I didn't mean to be that way. What I'm saying is that, Megan, the count you're reading from, the one count you're reading from, when you're reading off what the jury found here, a lot of that turns on apparent agency and that Sally Smith was a treating physician. These are questions that are legal questions where I think there were motions that were made at the conclusion of the plaintiff's case where the standard was not met, and the judge overruled those and let it go to the jury. But I think that from a legal standpoint, people have asked me about the hospital and their grounds for appeal. The count that you're reading from, this is the hospital's strongest basis for appeal. Everything that you're talking about here, there are a lot of legal questions that have to be overcome to get to these questions that I think the plaintiffs kind of barely skated by. So,
but they did, and it got to the jury.
You're right.
And if I'm on the jury and these are the questions posed to me, I'm answering it in exactly the same way that they.
Oh, I mean,
It's all I'm
the
saying.
jury was out for blood. The
It's all
jury
I'm
was
saying.
like, "We're going hunting."
Yep, and that's the point
Let's
I made.
put it out on Twitter. I don't give a fuck if you're 6'3". I'll slap the shit out of you, fucker.
Oh my
I
god!
didn't even try to click that. That was an accident. I was adjusting the window.
Oh god! It was great timing.
Perfect. God damn it.
Perfect. But the
goodness.
point I was making is, Megan, you're right. The jury, once the jury gets that question, once they get that question, of course they're going to slam dunk the hospital. They did, and they did emphatically. They found on all counts. For every standard, they went to every level, like clear and convincing. They went beyond. They were going to slam dunk on that hospital because of that.
It's funny
But-
they didn't know they could have busted the cap.
Oh, well, that is. But, well, you said that so casually that the chat probably is thinking bust a cap where. Anyways,
Oh, it's equivalent.
it is kind of equivalent. But the question
Yeah.
is that one legal standard, that one question, that one is the one that I think is subject to question at the Court of Appeals. And it's because of all the preliminary legal questions they had to answer before they got there. So of all of the different counts, right? When I said this wasn't a MedMal case, it's because that one count that you're reading from is the one that's the at highest risk from the Court of Appeals. Everything else, the battery, false imprisonment, all those are safe. Those are completely fine. The MedMal count is the,
I
is the
know
one
this
that's
one
at
is
risk.
at the biggest risk. It's just that I don't think these
Wrongful death is at the
questions-
biggest risk.
I don't think these
It's that there
questions
too.
are unreasonable, and I don't think they're answering yes to them are unreasonable. And isn't it a standard that when a jury comes to a decision, that an appeals court has to be very careful about overturning a jury decision?
Not on that issue. No.
And
That's-
why on that
Well,
issue?
because it's the legal standard applied. That's when people say the jury has reached a decision, we defer to the jury. That's not the case when the question never should have gotten there in the first place. And that's what the hospital preserved by making those motions early on. So what you're saying is that there's two standards applied at appellate. One is, did the jury get it wrong? Two is, should it have gone to the jury in the first place?
Got it.
And that second one, should it have gone to the jury in the first place? That's the one that places this count at risk.
Yeah, because this is the wrongful death. No, the wrongful death
No,
is the
we're
MedMal.
still talking
MedMal.
about
It's
medical
it's both.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, you're right. It's both of those counts. It's both
Right.
of those counts.
So the MedMal question is there, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, is there any way any reasonable jury can find,
Yes.
they have to find the elements with what's on the record? Because just because juries find elements for shit all the time that has never been argued. And that's when an appeals court does go in and overturn a jury verdict. They say, look, there is no presentation on the record. And what you'd hope is that the judge actually takes care of those on a directed verdict. We saw that in Rittenhouse when he's like, look, you guys did not put into evidence that this rifle was actually not able to be carried by him. You failed an element of this claim. Therefore, I'm going to dismiss it because your case is over. You've rested on your case, so it's gone. You'd hope that it would be caught at that stage by the judge, but that is where an appeals court can come in and say, "Look, we've reviewed the record. We accept the record before it. We accept the determinations, the balls and strikes called by the judges. The evidence is now here. It's before us. We're not going to reevaluate it, and we're not actually going to weight the evidence at that point." They're going to defer to the jury's analysis of the evidence. All they're going to do is say, is there any evidence in the record that supports a standard of care and then a breach of the standard of care? And then in the case of wrongful death, they're going to say, because I think, Rob, you were explaining earlier that the wrongful death, this judge kind of created a standard in how to get to the wrongful death. They're going to say, is that an appropriate standard? Is this a case? Because if this is a case of first impression and it's a novel claim, the appeals court they're going to analyze the test created by the judge. They're going to determine if that's an appropriate test, if a test can even be applied to this, or if the traditional rule of a superseding intervening cause of the personal self-deletion will trump it and is not a pierceable presumption at this time or under these facts. So those are great questions for how traditionally very tough to overcome jury appeals are won. And the two questions in this case on those two issues, I think, are great. Alma John says, Kurt is still salty about the last stream. Guys, this is a case that produces, first of all, it's not easy. It's not we want it to be easy because we hate bad actors, but it's not an easy case because there are bad actors the other way. There are parents that do this shit, conversion shit to their kids. This is a thing that happens. But that being said,
very, very rarely.
Yes.
So rarely. It's like almost non-existent. It's very, very rare, and it's just child abuse.
I am making an Oscar-worthy dramatic point here, and you're like, I have allegations. No, I'm just saying. No, it's this is important. This goes to our fun. Like the one thing that has been consistently held from the beginning of our nation to now is that parental right. Sorry. Yeah, not always. Jeff, sometimes my hand gets tired. Parental rights have always been critical. Like they're the only state right left. It's the only state regulated right left is parental rights. It's the only place the feds can't touch. That's how sacred they are in this shitty system that was supposed to be states and is now almost entirely federal. Parental rights matter, and this goes right to the core of them. Of course we're going to have heated emotions. It's fine. We're all adults. We'll get over it. Janelle Diane H says, shame on you for allowing attacks on MF again, Nick. Wait.
I'm not going to lie. That one's not untrue, but that's okay. That's all right, Nick.
Wow.
I kind of feel like she can hold her own.
Guys,
I can.
I kind of feel like she doesn't need the shotgun.
Look, no, they're right. I protect Megan 77% as hard as I would protect any other guest. Relaxing stuff.
Last time, this is what Nick did.
Medium protection.
I laughed.
Honest to God, this is what he did.
Megan, how can you criticize it? That's produced the greatest gif of my entire career.
It's true. It did. It did.
You only get medium protection from Nick.
I forgive
Every time I see that pop up on Twitter. Every time I see that pop up on Twitter, I'm like, how is this? This is a real gif in the world. This is my contribution to the human condition.
Everyone else is screaming.
Fucking funny.
No, that's like the running commentary. Like you know when Nick's had enough of his own stream is when he gets lost in the soundtrack of his own mind. When he starts hearing music in his head, he's done.
I love it. I was like, I don't have to do anything this stream. These guys.
Don't worry. I love Nick. It's okay. I'll forgive him after I'll choke him later. Don't worry.
We flip off YouTube, we're going to flip over to Rumble, and then we're going to flip over to Best Gore and really have it out. B-Gun says, when will Kurt have Megan on his channel for an in-depth analysis?
Never.
Maybe you guys can find common ground.
I don't know. Kurt's considering it.
Began says, Runkle, fuck, marry, kill.
I'll tell you what, she said something. I comment that I agreed with. I am not a fan of qualified immunity. So we agree on that. When the government
matchmaker, fuck me a match.
I don't think it's a good idea.
But Kurt, isn't it true that you that by implication you disagree with every other comment she's made?
I was trying to find a highlight.
But isn't it true then that you disagree with every other comment? Correct. That is true. Correct.
It's
you disagree
really
with
not the commentary.
I'm sorry.
A personal thing.
Judge, will you please silence the gallery here? I am trying to cross-examine the witness.
I'm going to give the Glomar response. I can neither confirm nor deny.
You have to answer the question. This is a yes/no question. You are under oath.
I do not disagree with everything else she said. No.
No, on this stream, sir.
No, I don't disagree with everything she said on the stream either.
Name one other thing you agree with.
No, he just dislikes.
My name is in fact Kurt.
Okay, name two other things that you agree with.
Her name is in fact Megan.
It was fact.